In the place where white clouds curled and high peaks stood, is Qin Yun Feng. It was so desolate that even the eagles couldn't help but cry out to the sky in frustration, "Oh my God," before angrily flapping their wings and flying away, cursing the mountains. "The mountain is full of rocks, there's nothing to eat, let's go." But amidst this desolation, 3 individuals were diligently studying, constantly murmuring, 10 squared is the gravitational acceleration, divided by the frictional force of air. After a while of cramming, Lulu couldn't resist any longer and could only slump wearily onto the table, disheartened by the scene, her pencil broken in her hand as she lamented, studying physics and chemistry all day long. "When will it end?" Lulu raised her head to the sky and exclaimed, "Clearly I came here to cultivate immortals, didn't I?" Lu Jin sat next to her and studied until he vomited blood, but he turned to comfort Lulu. "Junior sister Lulu must listen to Master's words, the science of cultivating immortals has boundless power." Lulu retorted sarcastically, "Senior brother Lu Jin, you've studied to the point of vomiting blood." Just then, a voice rang out, "Long time no see, junior sister Lulu," prompting her to quickly look up. In front of her was a group of swordsmen flying in, their demeanor arrogant as they mocked, "Ha, originally, we could become immortals by entering the goddess peak, but here you are in this miserable situation. What's the point?" "Senior sister, don't say that. Ever since the peak master of Qin Yun Feng went insane, if he hears senior sister's words, he might bite someone." Each of them laughed loudly at these taunts. Lulu angrily slammed the table and exclaimed, "A bunch of cowards without any real skills, daring to insult our master. I'll break your faces." Before she could act, Lu Jin held her shoulder to restrain her. "Don't be impulsive. We can't disobey master's instructions." Lulu reluctantly said, "But..." Seeing this, they shifted their focus to him and mocked, "When did Lu Jin become so obedient? Seems like he's become stupid from studying." Suddenly, a sword appeared out of nowhere, pointing straight at Lu Jin. The blonde-haired youth holding the sword directly addressed him, his tone mocking. "This move won't dodge, will it? Senior brother Lu Jin, studying this physics, not only does cultivation not increase, but it decreases." Before he could revel in his triumph, a hand firmly gripped his shoulder, accompanied by a stern voice, "Enough fooling around." The one intervening was none other than the senior brother Shi Chuan. He glared coldly at him, "Gui Yuan sect 7 peaks are self-governed. If you don't have the sect master's orders, I suggest you leave our Qin Yun Feng immediately." He was held tightly, unable to break free, his only response a furious gnashing of teeth. "Shi Chuan, you..." While they were still grappling, a demon beast appeared from afar, its long legs emerging from beneath the ground. The brown-haired person among them witnessed this scene with horror, pointing forward and shouting, "Beast attack on the mountain." In the blink of an eye, the demon spider and its offspring emerged, causing the surrounding ground to crack. It attacked indiscriminately, causing the others to panic and flee, the blonde youth and the brown-haired one terrified. But their legs never stopped for a second. "If the 7 peaks are self-governed, then let Qin Yun Feng handle the demon. Let's go back and ask for reinforcements. Qin Yun Feng, hold on. Our disciples can't withstand the Foundation establishment stage demon." The demon spider emitted purple threads, layer upon layer until it formed a barrier, then raised itself high, revealing its large body. Only now could one clearly see the demon spider, half human, half spider. It is the desolate Spider King, at the Yuaning stage. The others, who had just been swaggering a few seconds ago, now screamed in horror, "No! Everyone was in a panic, exclaiming, "Desolate Spider King," unexpectedly. "It's the desolate Spider King's spider web barrier. We will surely die. We just wanted to be peaceful immortals, but dying like this is too ugly, hoo." Lulu stood there dumbfounded, still trying to understand what was happening, when suddenly the demon spider took the opportunity to launch a sneak attack from behind. Luckily, Lu Jin and Shi Chuan arrived in time to rescue Lulu. They advanced, dispersing the spider swarm. Ah, but before long, a spider thread flew over and wrapped tightly around Sichuan's arm, immediately pulling him in, his body crashing and shattering a large rock wall, causing him to cry out in pain. Lu and Lu Jin anxiously called out, "Senior brother." As they were still focused on their senior brother, a spider leg struck out at both of them at lightning speed. The unexpected attack left them unable to react, taking a direct hit to the chest. Lu Jin, in agony, coughed up blood. He collapsed to the ground, unable to help but exclaim, "Too strong." Having just encountered each other for a few seconds, both Lu Jin and Sichuan were seriously injured and couldn't stand firm. The desolate Spider King stood high above, unable to hide its satisfaction. "You useless people dare to harm my descendants. You all must die. Now that the Gui Yuan old ancestors have gone into seclusion, who can stop me?" Lulu trembled in fear, covering her face and unable to utter a word. While Sichuan was still catching his breath, realizing there was no other way, he looked up to the sky and called out loudly, "Master." Immediately, the dilapidated house next to them was opened, and the person who appeared was none other than Qin Yun, the peak master of Qin Yun sect. He angrily scolded, "Too noisy, don't you have enough exercises to do?" Seeing him coming out, the desolate Spider King mocked loudly, "Qin Yun, your sect's useless person, whose cultivation only remains at the golden pill stage, still dares to show up before me?" Qin Yun, with a disdainful expression, coldly retorted, "This is my territory, do you understand?" The desolate Spider King shot threads wrapping around his body. Loudly rebuking, "This is my territory now." Next, the desolate Spider King swung its sharp leg, intending to finish him off. "Go to die." After its attack, Qin Yun sighed, "Goodbye, beautiful world," followed by a long silence. Other disciples of the sect, witnessing this scene, couldn't help but panic, appearing so arrogant, unexpectedly killed instantly. The peak master of Qin Yun Feng is truly a useless person. Another group of people, seeing the escape route, fled in panic. "Oh! The barrier is gone. Everyone, hurry to find reinforcements." Lulu rushed back to him in horror, calling out loudly, "Master." Seeing her approach, Qin Yun opened his eyes and asked, "Shu. Has everyone left?" Lulu hesitantly replied, "They've all gone, leaving only me and the senior brothers." It was at this moment that she realized his intentions. Wait, just now, was Master pretending to be dead? Lulu thought to herself, even in front of people in the sect, he doesn't want to reveal his true strength. Qin Yun sternly asked, "Lulu, have you forgotten all my instructions?" Seeing him safely escaping the spider threads, the desolate Spider King exclaimed in horror, "You're still alive, how is this possible?" Qin Yun looked at it coldly, saying in a chilling tone, "Because disguise is also a killer move. I conceal my true strength, and you can only see the tip of the iceberg. There are too many hidden strong individuals in this world. If you don't bow down, you'll die for sure." Saying so, Qin Yun raised his hand high, gathering lightning streams. After accumulating enough power, he struck directly at the desolate Spider King's head, coldly saying, "Goodbye." The desolate Spider King couldn't resist and took the full force of his attack. The electric current spread throughout its body, burning it to ashes, and the shockwaves from the attack shattered the ground below, forcing Sichuan and Lu Jin to shield themselves from the pressure. After dealing with the situation, Qin Yun gently landed in front of his still bewildered disciples. He instructed, "You must coordinate your statements. The desolate Spider King never came, and neither did I. It was all an illusion caused by the spider venom." As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Yun turned and went back inside. Sichuan, Lu Jin, and Lulu regained their senses at this point, all bowing their heads in response, "Yes, Master." Back inside, Qin Yun called out loudly, "System, activate." Immediately, the system was activated, and countless green screens appeared. "Welcome back to the System Operation Interface. Host, please select the operation you want to proceed with." Qin Yun slumped into his chair, fanning himself with a fan while constantly complaining, "I'm tired to death." He commanded the system, "First, remove the equipment, then open the status bar of my disciples." The system displayed a notification, "Open the status bar of the disciples." Mechanical arms appeared and removed each piece of equipment from him. Remove the luminous ring, 8 uses remaining. Remove the camouflage camera, 5 uses remaining. Qin Yun lay on the chair, his finger scrolling above the screen. "Let me see what new skills to arrange for you guys." To understand the beginning of everything better, Qin Yun had been in this world for 3 years now. The owner of this body was a very talented cultivator, achieving the golden pill stage at a young age. But 3 years ago, he overdid it, and it was precisely at that moment that Qin Yun crossed over. He vividly remembered the scene of himself rising from the dead. Before the horror of his junior brothers and sisters, "Quick, inform the sect master, senior brother Qin Yun has awakened." Only then did Qin Yun discover that except for the body and memories of the host's home, he inherited nothing, which meant he didn't know how to cultivate. It was for this reason that he was often ridiculed by the people in the sect. "Look, that's Qin Yun overdoing it, didn't expect the former genius to not even be able to use basic techniques, truly a useless person." Currently, Qin Yun only had the body of the golden pill stage without any real strength, which was very dangerous. In the world of cultivating immortals, the law of the jungle prevailed, and without any means to protect oneself. Death was the only outcome. Although Qin Yun couldn't cultivate immortals in any way, fortunately, he had an ace up his sleeve, which was the infinite knowledge system. The system contained all the knowledge of another world. With the ability to unleash all that knowledge, he could potentially protect himself without relying on immortal techniques. As he finished his reminiscence, Qin Yun sighed deeply in frustration. What's this all about, offering up knowledge to the world of cultivating immortals? Humph. Let's get started, the system announced. Sichuan student knowledge has accumulated to the upgrade requirement. Please quickly arrange a practical training program to help students understand and apply all the knowledge they've acquired. Training progress 0/5. The information panel appeared. Sichuan's Cultivation Foundation is mid-level, with basic skills in the 5 elements introductory spells, academic level 12, height 1.74 meters, weight 60 kilograms, straight guy numerology nickname, experienced in love. After upgrading the knowledge tower, unlocking higher level knowledge, the host will be rewarded once with a lucky draw. Looking at Sichuan's information panel, Qin Yun pondered, after 3 years, finally, a disciple has reached this level. He has the best academic coefficient, but how to arrange this practical training program? Just then, a streak of light appeared in the sky, plummeting straight down towards Qin Yun Feng, cracking the ground below. As the dust settled, the figure of a young man standing atop a sword emerged. Boldly, he declared, "Those from Qin Yun Feng, come forward to receive orders." Sichuan approached to greet him, "Junior brother Zhong Xiong, long time no see. What brings you here?" Zhong Xiong replied, "I'm here to convey elders' orders. In 3 days, there will be a competition within the sect. I'm here to inform Qin Yun sect members to participate." Excited at the mention of the competition, Lulu's eyes lit up with joy. A competition within the sect means no need for homework, right? Oh yeah. Before she could revel in her excitement for long, Lu Jin interrupted, "Junior sister, don't get too excited. Judging by Master's temperament, he won't be interested in the competition." Sichuan interjected, "Thanks for making the trip, junior brother Zhong Xiong. But this year, before he could finish his sentence, Zhong Xiong interjected, "Elder has another order. If Qin Yun Feng fails to achieve anything in this competition, there's no need for Qin Yun Feng to exist anymore, and Qin Yun will be removed from his position as Master Peak." Hearing this, all 3 were stunned and exclaimed in unison, "What?" Zhong Xiong shrugged, sneering. "Hey, Sichuan senior brother, you entered Gue Yuan's sect before me and advanced to the foundation stage earlier than me. but after 3 years, I've already reached the golden pill stage, while you're still in the foundation stage. Qin Yun simply doesn't have the ability to teach you. I advise you to change peak sooner rather than later. Shi Chuan's face darkened, his eyebrows furrowing. Zhong Xiong didn't stop there, he turned to them and continued to taunt, Lu Jin, Lu, you're the same. Both of them became furious, glaring at him. Zhong Xiong looked at all three with disdain. Qin Yun was never a genius cultivator. All this talk about the science of cultivating immortals is just crazy talk after overdoing it. I see that Qin Yun is just a... Before he could finish his sentence, a loud shout interrupted him, shut up. Shi Chuan gripped his sword tightly, swiftly advancing towards him. With an angry glare, he rebuked, Zhong Xiong Jr. Brother, my master's path of practice is extremely profound. Can attain Saint Tao. If you continue to insult our master, don't blame me for being unintentionally ruthless. Zhong Xiong stood his ground, sneering, so, senior brother Shi Chuan, do you dare to spar with me? Just to let me understand a bit about the peculiarities of the science of cultivating immortals. I won't oppress you, I'll just use my late-stage foundation strength to spar with you, how about it? Lu Jin advised, senior brother, master doesn't allow us to fight each other, while Lu worriedly chimed in, senior brother. At that moment, Qin Yun's voice rang out, Shi Chuan. The unexpected call startled all three, who turned their heads to look. Qin Yun stood with his arms crossed, leaning against the doorframe. Facing such an enthusiastic invitation, feel free to play with him. Let him understand how is your learning. For a moment, his expression turned serious. Remember, everything is a number. Shi Chuan clasped his hands respectfully, yes, master. Holding the sword firmly, he turned to face Zhong Xiong, who sneered, be careful not to get hurt, senior brother Shi Chuan, then drew his sword. Zhong Xiong jumped up and rushed towards him, causing the ground and rocks below to crumble. Zhong Xiong rushed towards him with an arrogant expression. He pointed 2 fingers forward and performed the heavenly wrath sword technique, immediately that his countless swords appeared surrounding his body. Facing the approaching attack, Shi Chuan remained calm, trying to calm himself and recall Qin Yun's teachings, everything can be quantified. Master once said that everything in the world can be described with mathematics, as long as all the data is obtained, everything can be held in your hands, taking me to build spatial coordinates, angle of attack in 3-dimensional space is speed. Force. Seeing Shi Chuan standing still, Zhong Xiong became more arrogant. He swung his sword in a strike, but his swords only passed through Shi Chuan's afterimage before slamming into the ground. Frustrated, Zhong Xiong gritted his teeth and swung his sword again. But this time, Shi Chuan easily dodged the attack with a simple tilt of his head. Astonished, Zhong Xiong exclaimed, dodging again. You're incapable, my cultivation is clearly superior to yours. There's no way you can escape, Shi Chuan calmly replied. Zhong Xiong, you just can't beat us, these words only infuriated him further. Such nonsense. Eat one of my swords again. Zhong Xiong gripped his sword tightly and thrust it down forcefully. Shi Chuan thought to himself, got you. After a moment of grappling, he finally found an opening. In the blink of an eye, the situation completely reversed. Shi Chuan knocked away Zhong Xiong's weapon and then stabbed at his weak point. Though the stab didn't kill, it was enough to make Zhong Xiong tremble in fear, tears streaming down his face. As Shi Chuan withdrew his sword, tearing Zhong Xiong's garment in the process, Zhong Xiong lost his balance and fell to the ground, whimpering, I told you, all your moves are within my calculations. Zhong Xiong knelt on the ground, holding on to the bleeding wound, wailing, you broke one of our divine sect's moves. Impossible. Your cultivation is lower than mine, why are you stronger? Surely, you resorted to deceitful tactics. Shi Chuan wiped his sword blade lightly. This is the miraculous illusion point in our master's divine sect. If you don't believe, we can fight again. But in the next battle, I won't hold back. With a fierce gaze, he intimidated Zhong Xiong, never. Seeing Sichuan's victory, Lu Lu and Lu Jin rushed over to celebrate. Qin Yun observed the entire situation from the outside, looking at the training progress board, which had increased to 1 out of 5. Qin Yun smiled wryly, this is it. The science of cultivating immortals is indeed cultivating immortals. Indeed, fighting is the appropriate training program. It's unclear how much time had passed. But at Qin Yun Feng, Sichuan pointed his sword at Zhong Xiong. Zhong Xiong, you've lost again, Qin Yun said from behind, suggesting, why don't you fight 5 matches and win 3? Carry on with another match. Outwardly, Qin Yun pretended to console, Zhong Xiong Jr. brother, don't be discouraged. You might win the next round, but inwardly, he had already calculated. If you don't win, you can't stop. Well done. Under Qin Yun's eyes, Zhong Xiong was just a sandbag for Sichuan's training. Suddenly, he leaped onto his sword, flying high into the air before saying, I'll definitely come back. Qin Yun followed his figure, feeling a bit regretful. I thought I could rely on him to complete the task. Sichuan clasped his hands towards him, Master, luckily, I didn't disgrace you. Qin Yun casually replied, you did well. Glancing at the training progress board, he thought to himself, where should I find someone for Sichuan to fight next? Can't let fellow disciples cannibalize each other. Turning to ask, oh, right, what was he here for earlier? Sichuan answered, he was here to announce our disciples' participation in the sect competition. Hearing this, Qin Yun waved his hand dismissively, intending to go back inside, just formalities again, tiring and costly. No. Sichuan hastily intervened, Master, wait. If we rank last this year, the Elder Pavilion will cancel Qin Yun Feng. Qin Yun suddenly halted, his eyes brightened with the words, excellent. He excitedly thought to himself, a competition. Then we can fight freely. Qin Yun turned around and feigned gratitude, ahem, he spoke, advising, cultivators must never shy away from battle. Sichuan, as our Qin Yun Feng representative, let's go to the competition. While Lu Jin and Lu Lu were stunned by their master's sudden change of heart, Sichuan bowed his head and replied, I obey, master. Lu Lu asked in confusion, Master, are you giving in? Qin Yun waved his fan, saying, little girl understands this, the master has deeper purposes. Lu Jin spoke up, Master, should I also go and prepare? Qin Yun replied, Lu Jin. Stay here and take care of the housework and do your homework. Make the most of your time and graduate early, to ease the burden on the master. Lu Jin felt a bit disheartened by this arrangement. 3 days passed, and now, in front of the Gue Yuan sect gate, Qin Yun instructed, Sichuan, first take Lu Lu to the Elders' Pavilion. You go to the competition arena yourself. Sichuan bowed his head in acknowledgement, yes, master. Lu Lu cheered eagerly, senior brother, go for it. You're our Qin Yun Feng's hope. Both master and disciple entered the hall, where the atmosphere was bustling. Lu Lu exclaimed excitedly, so Gue Yuan sect has many people like this. It's so lively. Qin Yun used the system's talent scanning function, scanning a group of people nearby, all of whom displayed grades C and D. He thought to himself, just picking up a bunch of mediocre disciples. If it were our Qin Yun Feng, even the qualification to participate wouldn't be there. Both arriving at the Elders' Pavilion gate, before they could step in, they heard voices from inside. Saying, this time, Qin Yun Feng sending out senior brother Sichuan, who's only in the foundation stage, is truly laughable. Well, as expected of a useless person disciple taught by a useless person master, no wonder everyone bet that Qin Yun Feng would lose. Unexpectedly, the casino's betting ratio this year has reached 1 to 1,000, truly unheard of, such a profitable venture. The old man has placed bets with his entire estate. Hearing their conversation, Qin Yun's face darkened, and he retorted, the tiger doesn't show its might, do you think I'm a sick cat? Hearing this, Lulu brightened up, master. She thought to herself, is he finally going to take action? Qin Yun turned and gestured for her to follow. Come with me. An anonymous report to the elders about their gambling activities will encourage a better atmosphere. Hearing what he says, Lulu felt a bit disappointed, so it's just a report. Qin Yun frowned in anger, it's already too lenient for them. Qin Yun Feng's strength hasn't even been criticized by others yet. Within seconds, Qin Yun's attitude changed, and he shrugged regretfully, it's a pity. Betting against oneself invites jealousy. Otherwise, their entire fortune would have fallen into my hands. Standing beside him, Lulu exclaimed, so, you care more about winning bets than being humiliated? Qin Yun pinched her cheek, you cause trouble, you get trouble. Directly opposing others is courting death. Lulu, her cheeks pinched, mumbled unclearly, ouch, it hurts, master. Qin Yun stroked his chin, imparting wisdom to her, going with the flow doesn't require being reckless. Against the current lies the killer move. Understand? He seemed to transform into a wandering monk, constantly preaching, appearances are expensive, but so are interests. But for survival, both must be abandoned. Lulu hugged her arms tightly and shook her head vigorously, if you don't listen to the king reciting the sutra, you can't continue to listen anymore. Lulu pointed forward, even if I can't comfortably repay kindness or seek revenge, it should be like this. Qin Yun, curious, looked in the direction she pointed. Both master and disciple noticed the appearance of a beautiful girl leading a group of disciples to the competition arena, causing excitement on both sides with cheering banners raised. Qin Yun was uninterested, casually saying, so, this is the master peak of Goddess Peak, by Xia Zhenren. Just seeing her beauty, Lulu happily exclaimed, yes. Bai Xia Zhenren gently brushed her long hair, was enough to captivate the crowds on both sides. Lulu's eyes showed admiration as she spoke, imagining her own scene. Bai Xia Zhenren, the daughter of the sect master, is young and already at the Yuaning realm, but most importantly, she's so beautiful. I cultivate immortals is to become as beautiful as her, making others fall at the mere mention of your name. Hearing this, Qin Yun felt like turning into stone, so are you here for cultivating immortals or a beauty contest? Qin Yun stroked his chin, thinking, right, if she's here, too. After finishing his calculation, he patted Lulu on the shoulder, saying, Lulu, come with me to meet Bai Xia Zhenren. Hearing about meeting Bai Xia Zhenren, Lulu was ecstatic, asking repeatedly. Really? But just a few seconds ago she was radiant, now she turned to stone in shock at the sight of the real person behind the scenes. Before Lulu was Bai Xia, sitting cross-legged, looking rather ungraceful, with a disciple holding a plate of melon seeds below, laughing mischievously, speaking in a playful tone. Hey there! Isn't this little Yun? You haven't come to visit for a long time. Qin Yun laughed and replied, senior sister, you are. Bai Xia Zhenren raised her hand, you too. It was only then that he noticed Lulu standing beside him, trembling all over, her face darkening. Qin Yun teased, shocked. Surprised, your usual perfect goddess is actually a lazy girl like this. Bai Xia Zhenren yawned deeply, as if any passing fly would dive into it, but what he didn't anticipate was Lulu's admiration for Bai Xia Zhenren's appearance. She clasped her hands in excitement, saying, isn't this better? Qin Yun, perplexed, couldn't understand, huh? Bai Xia accepted her praise with amusement. Interesting, rarely seen such a reaction. After a moment's thought, she sat up, one hand on her thigh, her legs apart, looking no different from a man. Bai Xia Zhenren asked, is this the little girl you brought from our place? Qin Yun nodded, yes. Meanwhile, Lulu continued to ramble endlessly. In front, cold and aloof, behind, mischievous and carefree. Such a stark contrast, I love it. Bai Xia Zhenren stood up and walked towards him. She couldn't help but praise, your eyes are really sharp, Qin Yun replied, senior sister is so complimenting, she said that on her lips, but in my heart, I was secretly relieved, it's actually all the credit of the scanning system. Lulu Va by Xia Zhenren approach and high-fiving each other like close sisters who had only seen each other after a long time, Lulu happily said, by Xia Zhenren, I've decided. I must follow in your footsteps forever. She cheered, go for it. I respect you. Qin Yun felt helpless at this scene. Thinking, this news absorption speed is like a black hole. If applied to studying, it would be wonderful, Bai Xia Zhenren approached and patted him on the shoulder, offering, this little girl shares the same ambition as me, or still give it to me, the price is up to you. Qin Yun immediately refused, priceless, no negotiations. In short, both of you are disciples of the sect master. Bai Xia and I have been playing together since childhood. Our relationship is like that of an ox and a horse. Bai Xia Zhenren angrily rebuked, stop, get a good spot for me and then turn around and not know anyone, it's truly heartless. Qin Yun reminded, senior sister, this place is still full of young people. Be a bit more careful, don't harm the reputation of Gui Yuan sect. Bai Xia Zhenren shrugged, oh, not interesting at all. Did you intentionally come here to teach me a moral lesson? Qin Yun continued, senior sister, don't rush. I just want to find you. Hearing this, Bai Xia Zhenren smirked, hee, then turned around to pat Qin Yun's shoulder, annoying. My price is not cheap, these words of Bai Xia Zhenren puzzled the young girl Lulu. But Qin Lian, standing at a distance, was furious, ready to explode. Bai Xia Zhenren put on a provocative smile, well, what you want to do make senior sister happy? Later, Bai Xia Zhenren's disciple, standing at a distance, closed her eyes in contemplation. I called Qin Lian, a cultivator of Goddess Peak, Gui Yuan sect. Bai Xia Zhenren is my master. She is truly virtuous and talented, renowned far and wide, a model for everyone, elegant and refined, even immortals admire her. Outside, there were debates ongoing, I want a 7:3 profit share in the bet, no way. Bai Xia Zhenren leaned on the table and asked, little Yun is being stubborn today. How about a 5:5 split, Qin Yun bluntly proposed, 80:20. Qin Lian looked disdainfully at her master peak, thinking, but the current demeanor is not at all usual. It's not what he's like normally. Thinking of this, Qin Lian turned her angry eyes towards him, thinking angrily, all this is because of this insect's appearance, just being with him, the master becomes like this. Qin Lian's reference to the insect here is none other than Qin Yun. After a while of debate, Bai Xia Zhenren lied down on the chair dejectedly, fine, I agree with you. Qin Yun asked boredly, senior sister, you never cared about money, but you always play this game. Aren't you tired? She happily replied. Senior sister just likes the feeling of bargaining. How could I not want to stay with you? Bai Xia Zhenren then instructed her disciple, little Qin Lian, later listen to the instructions of Master Peak Qin Yun and assist him in the gambling. Qin Yun added, Qin Lian, it's going to be tough for you later. Despite being angry enough to crush the nearby pillar, Qin Lian respectfully clasped her hands and replied, yes, master. Although she was furious, in her mind, she imagined a racket to be able to kill the insect. Qin Yun, go to hell, you bug. Later at the competition arena, amidst the large crowd cheering, the announcer loudly declared, the sect competition is about to begin. All disciples, be ready. In the first match, 3 people mixed, the stage was marked to, Tian Su Peak, Ling Xiao, from Mingguan Peak, Jiang Gan, and finally, from Qinyan Feng, Sichuan. All 3 stood on the arena, facing each other. Suddenly, the other 2 rushed towards Sichuan. Jiang Gan shouted, Sichuan's senior brother, the elder has ordered us to expel you first, Ling Xiao added, sorry. Facing this situation of 2 against 1, Sichuan remained calm. He focused his energy into the palms of his hands and then delivered a powerful blow to Jiang Gan, pushing him back in an instant. Seizing this opportunity, Ling Xiao hurled his sword towards Shi Chuan. Shi Chuan effortlessly caught the sword with his hand and then applied the principles of physics he had learned to twist his body, throwing the sword back towards its owner. Jiang Gan, still refusing to surrender, took advantage of the moment appearing behind Shi Chuan, intending to strike a fatal blow. Shi Chuan's senior brother, where are you looking? In the stands, Bai Xia asked, Little Yun, isn't your disciple behaving unusually aggressive for the first time? Is there any problem? Qin Yun shook his head, explaining, don't be agitated by others' provocations. He looked down at the arena, confident that, in this grand competition, no one can defeat my disciple. Below the stage, Shi Chuan was attacked from both front and back by the other two. Unlike them, under Shi Chuan's eyes, every move was calculated, with numbers, graphs, and calculations. According to his calculations, Shi Chuan assured himself, no calculation errors, he then sidestepped, and the two swords from Ling Xiao stabbed directly into Jiang Gan's hands and feet. Witnessing this scene, Ling Xiao was astonished, what's going on? How did my sword technique lose control just now? While still lost in thought, Shi Chuan approached him. Master was right. Shi Chuan's resolute gaze looked directly at him. The sword technique is just a vector to change positions, with a slight modification. It can make the trajectory deviate unexpectedly. Meanwhile, Jiang Gan, with blood continuously dripping from his wounds, collapsed to the ground in pain, unable to get up. After some contemplation, he finally realized, that was the moment. Even so, Ling Xiao still retreated without fear. He raised his neck to argue, I don't believe just smearing some mud can control my sword technique. Shi Chuan swung his sword, looking at him with a sharp gaze, want to explain the science of cultivating immortals of my master? You're not worthy. Ling Xiao startled in fear. Just a few seconds later, the referee loudly announced, arena victory, Qinyan Feng Shi Chuan wins. Switching scenes to inside the gambling den, the losers lamented, cursing loudly, Ling Xiao eat bran, you actually hit your teammate, is this a play? Losing even in a 2-against-1 match, refund my money. Qin Lian collected the winnings that Qin Yun had bet. She stares intently at the pile of gold in her hand, her face darkened, thinking, too heavy, I didn't expect this fire bug to earn so much. At the examination hall, enraged elders grumbled, Humph, just got lucky. Next match, let's bet on Shi Chuan losing. Another elder lost so much that his pockets were empty. He sobbed bitterly, my wife's dowry is almost gone a half, this Shi Chuan is too strange. Even if he has so much talent, relying solely on that useless Qin Yun, what real skills can he teach him? Another elder calmly stroked his beard and replied, senior brother is right. The next match won't be as easy to deceive. Meanwhile, Qin Yun collected his winnings, holding up the betting slip, he said to Qin Lian, hard work, continue betting on Shi Chuan. Qin Lian took the slip with an extremely difficult expression, she gritted her teeth in frustration. Qin Yun scratched his head, not understanding, wondering, did she just glare at me? Is it because you don't get a commission that's why you're angry? Bai Xia Zhenren turned to ask him, Little Yun, are you still betting on Shi Chuan winning? This match won't be easy for him. Below the arena, the referee loudly announced, from Linghua Peak, Li Bailei challenges Qin Yunfeng Shi Chuan. Li Bailei greeted Shi Chuan with clasped hands, Shi Chuan's senior brother, please advise. Bai Xia Zhenren said to Qin Yun. Li Bailei, this person, although his cultivation time is not as long as Shi Chuan's, he's also at the foundation stage, and he has realized his own magical talent. I really don't know if Shi Chuan has realized his magical talent yet. How can he defeat Li Bailei? Lu Lu, puzzled, asked, Bai Xia Zhenren, what is magical talent? These words shocked Bai Xia Zhenren, her face turned pale, she was stunned and asked him again, Little Yun, didn't you teach her? Bai Xia Zhenren trembled all over, panicked, and asked him, what does your teaching at Qin Yun Feng usually involve? Under her questioning, Qin Yun avoided eye contact, sweating profusely, thinking, I don't know about that either. How could I teach it? Below the arena, Li Bai suddenly transformed into a beam of light, disappearing right in front of Shi Chuan's eyes. With his lightning-fast speed, he appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye. He threw a powerful punch at Shi Chuan. The sudden attack made him grit his teeth, exerting all his strength to resist. After that attack, Li Bai disappeared again. Shi Chuan couldn't help but be amazed. Disappeared again. Hearing this, he laughed heartily, full of excitement, ha ha ha. Li Bai teased with his speed, circling around Shi Chuan, with his lightning speed. Behind him, there were successive residual images. Li Bai triumphantly taunted, see Shi Chuan, senior brother. Can your eyes keep up with my speed? In the stands, Bai Xia Zhenren explained to Lu, magical talent is actually an aspect of a cultivator after reaching the extreme. It's a supernatural ability obtained through chance, and the level of magical talent and cultivation are unrelated. Some people in the qi refining period have gained it in their sleep, while some at the great power yuaning stage haven't gained it even after numerous reincarnations. The magical talent realized by each person is different. For example, Li Bai's magical talent is speed, which is extreme agility. If little Shi Chuan wants to keep up with Li Bai's speed, he probably needs to reach at least 2 more realms. Below the arena, Shi Chuan gritted his teeth, feeling overwhelmed, thinking to himself, too fast. Just relying on the naked eye, I can't possibly calculate his speed. At the same time, inside the gambling hall, Qin Lian stomped her foot on the table excitedly, shouting, go ahead, defeat Shi Chuan and make that insect lose completely. Back at the stands, after hearing her explanation, Lu worriedly slammed his hand on the railing. Master has never mentioned this before. How should senior brother fight? Bai Xia Zhenren teased, can't blame little Yun for this. He himself hasn't realized his magical talent, how can he teach you guys? But I'm afraid Shi Chuan will lose this match. Qin Yun confidently replied, senior sister, not necessarily. How does she know that I haven't prepared a few trump cards for Shi Chuan? Below the arena, Shi Chuan looked up at him. Master, the disciple has to use your tools. Saying so, Shi Chuan took out the tactical goggles. Its function is to collect all the data of the target seen in the blink of an eye. Please note that it should not be used to collect the 3 measurements of female cultivators. Shi Chuan immediately put on the tactical goggles. He pressed the button in the middle. A beep sound rang out. Li Bai exclaimed in horror, is that a magic weapon? After activating the goggles, all the data, speed, and direction of Li Bai appeared in front of Shi Chuan. He smiled with satisfaction, data collection complete. Thanks to the goggles, every move and speed of Li Bai was captured by him. Coordinate confirmation, movement time confirmation, speed confirmation. Li Bai, furious, gritted his teeth, pretending to be mysterious and deceive me. He angrily rushed towards Shi Chuan, senior brother Shi Chuan, you've gone too far. Just because I'm straightforward doesn't mean I'm foolish. Faced with the countless residual images of Li Bai charging at him, Shi Chuan raised his sword, ready for defense, constantly calculating in his mind. Speed confirmation, angle of movement confirmation, target's foot landing position. Shi Chuan shouted, confirmation. Immediately, he swung his sword down to shatter the residual images, while also getting close to him. Shi Chuan calmly raised the goggles and said, Junior, you've lost. Inside the gambling den, Qin Lian lowered her head into the pile of gold and silver. Why did we lose? How did he win? In the stands, Lu was as happy as if she were blooming flowers. Senior brother's martial arts prowess. Bai Xia Zhenren curiously turned to ask him, what did Shi Chuan just wear? Qin Yun replied, an item he found during cultivation. She suspiciously asked again, just that? He shrugged and said, does senior sister think I know about cultivating divine weapons? Unable to extract any more information, Bai Xia Zhenren pouted, angrily waved her hand, fine, if you won't tell, then forget it. Qin Yun looked at the progress board, silently thinking, although we won, the progress in actual training hasn't increased much. Could it be that the things that need to be calculated in this match are too few? Thinking this, Qin Yun beckoned, Lulu. Come here, master has arranged for you to do some work. Seeing his disheveled appearance, Lulu knew immediately that it wasn't something good. Her face darkened and she asked, "Oh." A while later, inside the examination hall, an elder slammed his hand forcefully on the table. The elder, who had lost so much, had a red face, trembling all over, unable to contain his anger, letting someone from Qin Yun Feng win again. The elder, who had a little money left and was determined to take a risk, was now penniless. He cried pitifully, "Senior brother, my wife's dowry is gone." The calmest old man among the three, but now also angry, slammed his hand on the table. "This kid is very strange. Who can guarantee that next time he won't use any tricky divine weapons?" He wondered to himself, what is that divine weapon for anyway? Even in the previous 2 rounds, we didn't know his weaknesses. Suddenly, there was a strange praying voice outside, catching the attention of all three. "Heavenly parents, please bless my senior brother Shi Chuan to continue winning." They curiously opened the window to eavesdrop. The voice was still murmuring to himself, "He's not good at fighting with spells. Please let his next opponent be someone who practices martial arts." Hearing this, all three leaned out to look carefully, only to find that the person praying was none other than Lulu. If Qin Yun Feng is defeated, this pitiful Lulu won't have a place to stay anymore. Hearing this, the 3 old men gathered together to discuss their strategies. It seems that she's one of Qin Yun's 3 disciples. They say that this time Xiaoyao Peak has a genius in spells. The 3rd round will have her deal with Shi Chuan. Let's bet all the money, this time we'll definitely win. Under Qin Yun's cunning strategy, Lulu still sat outside, clasping his hands and pretended to pray, "Please bless, please bless." A while later, the referee loudly announced, in the 3rd round of Bingyun Arena, Qin Yun Feng Shi Chuan will fight Xiaoyao Peak's Jiao Ran. Hearing her name, the crowd cheered in unison, "Senior sister, keep going. Jiao Ran's senior sister is the strongest. Jiao Ran's senior sister's magical power is boundless, undefeated in the world." Suddenly, they turned to threaten Shi Chuan, "Little one, admit defeat quickly. If you touch Jiao Ran's senior sister from behind the sect, don't go anymore." A voice rang out, making Shi Chuan puzzled and annoyed, "Damn it, didn't expect to meet you here." This pink-dressed girl was Jiao Ran, who appeared and insulted him right away. "Haven't seen you in 3 years, Shi Chuan, you still maintain that foolish look. That year it was right to leave you back then," Shi Chuan asked in bewilderment, "Who are you?" Seeing that he didn't recognize her, Jiao Ran became furious, trembling all over. "Shi Chuan," immediately she raised 2 fingers and cast countless spells attacking him. Witnessing this scene, Shi Chuan was a bit surprised, silently thinking, so many spells. In just a moment, countless spells surrounded Shi Chuan, while also launching attacks. The 3 elders sitting in the stands observed the situation without hiding their excitement. Fire cloud technique, flowing light transmission, ice bullet, although not high-level spells, to be able to use so many at once. This disciple of Xiaoyao Peak is not bad. Seeing the panicked look of that little kid, it's clear he's not good at dealing with spells. Qin Yun looked at the progress board, feeling satisfied. Not bad, being so violent. He thought to himself, the progress in actual training and the amount of calculation seemed to be directly proportional. Seeing his demeanor, Bai Xia Zhenren was a bit surprised. "Little Yun, now it's your disciple being beaten." Returning to the arena below, dust flying everywhere, Shi Chuan plunged his sword into the ground. Struggling to stand up, he whispered to himself, "This one's a bit difficult." Jiao Ran didn't let up, continuously launching attacks that forced Shi Chuan to struggle to defend himself. He silently thought, "I miscalculated twice. If I continue to get hit by spells 15 more times, I'll lose." Seeing his struggle, Jiao Ran sneered, loudly disdainful, pathetic, can't you even fight back? It seems my strength has long surpassed yours. Sichuan held his wound tightly, breathing heavily, retorted, you're not as strong as they say. Just this remark was enough to infuriate Jiao Ran. What did you say? Sichuan raised his sword defensively, continuing, you pursue power with spells but underestimate the importance of basic arithmetic. Even if your techniques are frightening, they only deplete spiritual energy. For example, with the divine fire earlier, if you can adjust it 3 degrees to the left, I'd be hit by more than 3 strikes. In simple terms, your spell usage is poor. I just need to exhaust your spiritual energy to win. Angered, Jiao Ran darkened her face, you want to teach me something again? At first, you used this trick to deceive me, making me like you, then abandon me. A despicable person playing with a young girl's heart in your family. Mentioning the old incident, while Sichuan remained unmoved, Jiao Ran reminisced, feeling lovesick, disappointed, and harboring resentment. Jiao Ran shouted, I've changed, don't try this trick on me again. In the stands, Bai Xia Zhenren clapped her hands and laughed, unable to close her mouth, trying to deplete Jiao Ran's spiritual energy. Even if he's exhausted to death, he won't be able to deplete all of it, haha. Qin Yun, lying on his seat, sighed, this Sichuan's intelligence has been lowered. He blew the smoke from his hands. Looked up at the sky, analyzing the outcome of this match, it's not about who exhausts whom first. I don't know why this stupid disciple suddenly became so stupid, maybe focusing on trivial matters. Hearing this, Bai Xia Zhenren's eyes lit up, eager to gossip, haha, little Yun, these two look like there's some drama going on, don't you think? Qin Yun replied, probably, the kid Sichuan agreed to something, but he himself doesn't know the result. For my disciple, mathematics is more attractive than women. Below the arena, facing the approaching spells, Sichuan thought to himself, here we go again. Jiao Ran berated, enough with your nonsense, talking about exhausting my spiritual energy. If you can do it, then try, as she finished speaking, she raised her hand forward, immediately displaying the magical talent, heavenly guiding 10,000 techniques. Witnessing this scene, the crowd cheered, Jiao Ran's senior sister's magical talent has appeared, increasing the number of spells cast. It's said to use the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, without depleting one's own energy. From the circles of spells, successive explosions occurred. Sichuan had to struggle to avoid the densely packed circles attacking him. After hearing what they said, Sichuan panicked, thinking, not depleting one's own spiritual energy? Then it must be. Immediately, countless circles simultaneously descended with lightning, forcing Sichuan to momentarily halt his train of thought, quickly leaping backward to avoid them. He looked up at the countless circles of spells appearing all around him. Sichuan reminded himself, I have to calculate everything, or I'll lose. But this quantity. It's a risk, but I'll calculate it all at once. Qin Yun cursed loudly, stupid. Upon hearing these words, Sichuan seemed to realize something. He recalled a previous teaching session when Qin Yun asked, Sichuan, if you encounter a problem that requires extensive calculations, what will you do? Sichuan replied, practice makes perfect. Master, I'll calculate until I get the final answer. Qin Yun tapped his head and scolded, stupid, of course, you'd find a shortcut. Qin Yun explained, mathematics is a science. Searching for rules, understanding them, applying them, and finally deriving formulas from the rules. That's the shortcut. It's like wanting to cross a firewall, you need a trick, or else you'll only see the 404 error for life. Sichuan, puzzled, asked, Master, what's 404? Ending his reminiscence, Sichuan raised his head to the sky, looking at the circles of spells, murmuring to himself. Discover the rule, find the formula, find the shortcut. Jiao Ran mocked, Sichuan, no matter how talented you were in the past, now you're just a useless person, no progress in 3 years. Pay the price for dying 30 times. As she finished speaking, she waved her hand, displaying spells rushing towards him. In the stands, the three elders gasped in amazement, Lu Qi Qingying magic, devouring the surrounding spiritual energy to supplement oneself, ultimately enhancing one's own power. No, that's not Lu Qi Qingying magic, but it's very similar. Anyway, Sichuan has been threatened with stupidity. Look, he's not dodging. Facing the overwhelming onslaught of attacks. Sichuan stood calmly in place, closing his eyes tightly, murmuring the formula algorithm. Immediately, the progress of his real training on the system board showed completion at May 5th. Qin Yun smiled contentedly, finally completed. After finishing his calculations, Sichuan dodged all the attacks, leaving Jiao Ran astonished. How could none of them hit? Just now. Sichuan easily dodged them all with his speed, his eyes tightly closed all this while. He suddenly opened his eyes wide, countless mathematical formulas appearing in his gaze. Every spell Jiao Ran cast was a problem he had already solved. The spells rushed towards each other, colliding and creating massive explosions, shaking the entire arena. Dust billowed, obscuring visibility. Jiao Ran looked at Sichuan's blurry figure amidst the flames, puzzled. When did you comprehend magical talent? And how can you control my spells? Sichuan slowly stepped out of the smoke, replying, although there are no rules, this technique is somewhat interesting. Once you grasp the laws, overcoming it is not impossible. The three elders looked ahead, stunned by the sudden appearance of mathematical formulas and geometry. Is this celestial geomancy? They looked at the cube Sichuan created on the arena. Does that strange demon figure contain the secrets of the great Tao of the heavens? I've lived until now and have never encountered a situation like this. What has he finally comprehended? Jiao Ran, with a greenish pale face out of fear, pointed incessantly at him, questioning, it's impossible. Magical talent can only control a few spells at most. What kind of magical talent are you? Sichuan replied, this is the matrix algorithm, taught by my master, a magical talent master. In this space, I can understand everything, of course, including how to manipulate. This is my master's immortal cultivation science, not understanding is quite normal. Qin Yun, hearing this, couldn't help but feel disgusted. I only wanted modesty, he's selling himself too fast. On the stands not far from there, Sect Master Wan Xian of the Gui Yuan sect, along with another elder, observed the match. He witnessed Sichuan's performance and couldn't help but admire, not bad. The elder excitedly spoke up, Sect Master, earlier Sichuan seemed to mention Qin Yun. Wan Xian stroked his beard in response, it seems he has made breakthroughs in other areas too. If I have a chance, I'll ask what this science of cultivating immortals is like. Suddenly, both of them sensed a strange atmosphere. The elder inquired, Sect Master, someone is using divine consciousness. Wan Xian cautioned, uninvited guests. Pay attention and don't let anything happen. He obeyed, responding, yes. Returning to the match, Sichuan created spheres aimed at Jiao Ran. All the spells you cast, I can neutralize. I've won this match, Jiao Ran, unwilling to accept defeat, continuously retorted, I haven't lost yet. Suddenly, something flew in from behind, causing Sichuan to look back. Jiao Ran loudly warned, watch out behind you. Sichuan shouted, go. Immediately, the fireball was activated and rushed behind him. He appeared from the beginning and blocked the fireball. Looking pleased, quick reaction. Seeing someone targeting his disciple, Qin Yun frowned angrily. He quickly activated the system, Initiate Defense Plan 9. The system immediately responded, Positioning Ring initialized, preparing supportive stance. A positioning ring flew straight to Sichuan's location. He aimed a punch directly at him. As the attack approached from within the positioning ring, Qin Yun appeared instantly, creating a shield to block his attack. Seeing his appearance, Sichuan happily called out, Master. Witnessing the interference, Wan Xian immediately rushed out, striking a blow straight at him. The ground beneath shattered, and the shockwave pushed Qin Yun and Jiao Ran back. He struggled to get up from the rubble, looking at Wan Xian with regretful eyes, failed. Wan Xian frowned menacingly, threatening, "You've gone too far." Sichuan bowed his head and called, "Master." Qin Yun waved his hand, instructing, "Rest down below." He clasped his hands respectfully, replying, "Yes." Qin Yun touched his forehead, activating the system's scanning function. After seeing his information clearly, Qin Yun thought to himself, "Golden pill late stage, not difficult to deal with. It's just the force behind that robe that's a bit troublesome." On the stands, Lulu was furious. Which despicable scoundrel dared to sneak attack senior brother? Bai Xia Zhenren immediately recognized, it's the Seven Clan sect, the strongest sect in Qingzhou. They always want to swallow other sects, dominate Qingzhou, but they fear our alliance, so they haven't declared war officially, but daring to sneak attack students in such a crowded square, this is the first time. It seems Sichuan's magical talent has threatened them. The elder of the Seven Clan sect glared fiercely, emitting a murderous aura towards them. Wan Xian and Qin Yun were not inferior, they prepared for battle as if ready for it to break out at any moment. Suddenly, he changed his attitude. The elder of the Seven Clan sect retracted his own aura, smiling and waving his hand to dismiss the matter. Sect Master Wan, I was just passing by. Suddenly seeing someone admiring magical talent, I couldn't help but want to give some guidance. I acted presumptuously. I apologize to Sect Master Wan. I hope one Sect Master does not disappoint this servant. Qin Yun sighed, indeed, talkative. The people in the stands were furious and kept cursing. Too arrogant, the Seven Kills sect is despicable. Their old ancestors just entered the divinity stage, and now they're already too powerful. Wan Xian retracted his aura, glanced at him, and said, "Thank you," then turned and left. The elder of the Seven Kills sect thought to himself, still afraid to act. Qin Yun stood at a distance, watching Wan Xian's back and thought to himself, smart. Fighting against the Seven Kills sect is like hitting a stone with an egg. Compromise is the most accurate principle, and he understands it very well. Qin Yun looked towards him and frowned, but there are some things he's not convenient about, but it doesn't mean I am. At this moment, the system board displayed a branch mission, deal with the assassins of the Seven Kills sect. The mission reward will be given along with the actual training reward. Abandoning the mission will deduct a certain amount from the training reward. Seeing him swaggering away, Qin Yun clenched his teeth in anger, thinking, daring to touch my disciple, you've caused a big trouble. The referee announced loudly, the Grand Martial Arts sect competition ends. Disciples of each peak return to their respective peaks. Lulu angrily turned and asked, why did sect master and master let them go like that? Bai Xia Zhenren yawned and said, that old man is very cowardly, afraid of causing trouble. Your master used to be somewhat interesting, but now he's just as helpless. A young man carrying a large sack approached, Qin Master Peak, I've brought the winnings from the bet. Not seeing him anywhere, she panicked and asked, where's Qin Master Peak? At this point, they noticed Qin Yun's absence. Lulu turned her head to search, master's not here anymore. The moon had risen slightly, and there were disturbances in the forest, causing birds and animals to panic incessantly. The elder of the Seven Kills sect swung his sword vigorously, cutting through the forest, recalling the scene from earlier in the evening and couldn't help but sneer. This Wan Xian is truly a coward, didn't expect him to endure like this, leave it. Anyway, opportunities always exist, but unfortunately, I didn't kill that brat. Lost in thought, he suddenly noticed strange objects flying past his face, causing him to pay attention. The elder of the Seven Kills sect stared intently at the strange objects before him, the projectiles slowly separating. Engrossed in looking at the projectiles, he didn't notice the barrier in front of him. immediately causing the elder of the 7 kill sect to be thrown off his sword. Immediately, he controlled his sword to catch himself from falling. The elder of the 7 kill sect thought to himself, an ambush? No, there's no law involved, could it be some kind of magic weapon? Thinking of this, he loudly exclaimed, I am a cultivator of the 7 kill sect, may I ask which fellow practitioner is this? Why attack me? Qin Yun stood below and shouted, do you not understand what's in your heart? Seeing the person who appeared was him, the elder of the 7 kill sect showed a disdainful look. Are you the one from earlier? Sent by Wan Xian, your master. He thought triumphantly, it's exactly what I expected. Qin Yun smiled and said, no, I just looked at you and decided to punish you. Upon hearing his words, he firmly grasped his sword, moving it towards him, with a contemptuous tone, just relying on early golden pill stage, unstable aura, and you want to challenge me? Qin Yun smiled, loudly activating starter weapon chest. Immediately, a series of various guns appeared around him. The elder of the 7 kill sect swung his sword towards him, thinking, disciples of the Gue Yuan sect, mostly proficient in swords or spells. In the golden pill stage, there might be only 2 threatening techniques, but there are only 2 to pay attention to. His thoughts were immediately interrupted when he noticed a flashbang grenade flying towards him. In a blink of an eye, the forest lit up brightly, and although he hurriedly raised his hands to shield himself, his eyes still stung as tears welled up. He exclaimed in horror, what kind of hidden weapon is this? Qin Yun calmly replied, flares, ever heard of it? Saying so, he pressed the detonator on his hand, and Qin Yun laughed heartily, haha, try the power of modern weapons. From behind him, countless missiles were launched, aimed straight at the elder of the 7 kill sect. Though he frantically jumped back to dodge, he still got hit by flying debris on his face, blood dripping from the wound. He gritted his teeth and shouted, dispel. 7 kill law enforcement, inheritance field. Immediately, a large demonic face in red appeared. On this side, Qin Yun simply waved his hand, conjuring a multi-barreled machine gun, which immediately began firing continuously towards him. Boom boom, the sound of gunfire rang out repeatedly, and dust billowed, obscuring visibility. As the smoke gradually cleared, revealing his demonic face, he had blocked all the bullets. The elder of the 7 kill sect sweated profusely but still maintained a haughty demeanor, so it was just an empty threat. Qin Yun waved his hand, putting away the machine gun, and he looked intently at the income statement displayed in front of him. It seems the defense of the golden pill stage can withstand normal bullets. The elder of the 7 kill sect withdrew his sword from within his robe. He glared indignantly at him, thinking to himself, can't get close to him, this little guy's stuff is too ancient, must win quickly. He raised his sword high, and immediately, the sword enlarged several times. The elder of the 7 kill sect laughed maniacally, just relying on your toy hidden weapon, you want to kill someone. Look here, this is what you use to kill. He swung the giant sword straight towards Qin Yun, and as the attack approached, he stared fiercely, activating his defensive stance. The sword struck and collided with his defensive shield. Suddenly, his sword began to melt, surprising Qin Yun slightly. The elder of the 7 kill sect clutched his neck and said with disdain, my blood knife isn't a magic weapon reliant on strength alone. Obediently become nutrition for my sword, the sword transformed into a liquid, enveloping Qin Yun's entire body, and in the blink of an eye, swallowed him into a blood cell with a gunshot sound. A bullet pierced through the sword, passing through his body. At this moment, Qin Yun held a sniper rifle in his hand with a scope attached. He exclaimed, oh, using armor-piercing rounds can penetrate the defenses of the golden pill stage, Qin Yun stepped out from behind the tree trunk, next to a row of heavy weapons. He taunted, didn't expect you to be so weak. He raised the gun to his shoulder, looking at him with disdain, luckily, I've prepared a lot. The elder of the 7 kill sect gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with rage. He thought angrily, didn't he already trap me with his blood knife? Why? At this point, he noticed his blood ball and realized something was wrong. It turned out that what the blood ball locked up was just an illusion created by Qin Yun. The elder of the Seven Kills sect raised his hand to hold the wound, humbling himself, "You're really cunning. I'm not as talented as you. I surrender, he thought to himself, despicable, I have to retreat to the sect for treatment, or I might die at the hands of this little guy." Hearing him say that, Qin Yun cheerfully said, "Do you want to surrender? Want me to let you go?" The elder of the Seven Kills sect trembled all over, bowing his head. "Yes, if you agree today." Boom! Another gunshot sounded. Qin Yun held the gun in his hand, his eyes coldly scolding, "Idiot! How could I spare you after seeing my secrets?" The bullet pierced straight into his forehead, killing him instantly. His body collapsed lifelessly to the ground. Qin Yun waved his hand, putting away the gun back into the arsenal. To deal with a golden pill stage cultivator, you need to use the second-level arsenal. It seems that it's time to advance in scientific and technical knowledge, upgrade the arsenal to 2 digits. The battle statistics appeared in front of him: weapon chest used, 3 out of 9, enemy unit, late golden pill stage. Qin Yun planned to leave, but suddenly stopped. He reached into his robe and took out a button. Forgot, there's one important step left to do. He pressed the red button, and immediately, a large firework exploded in the sky, countless sparks falling down. Small sparks of fire fell and burned him and everything around him. Qin Yun smiled satisfactorily, "Perfect, now it's certain he's dead." Not long after, smoke was still rising from the center of the forest, and soon 2 people appeared, their faces pale with fear at the sight before them. Here. Did the elder really die here? It turned out they were also from the Seven Kills sect, following the trail of the other person here. Later, at the Seven Kills sect, a large sword was inserted in front of the door, emitting a red aura. The 2 cultivators were trembling with fear, reporting the situation. "That's right, we waited for the elder but couldn't find him, so we went to search. The spiritual board showed the elder's last location as a barren land. We only found a few bone fragments of the elder." Looking at the small piece of bone left behind, the 4 elders of the Seven Kills sect couldn't help but be horrified. One elder shouted angrily, "What's this nonsense? As a golden pill cultivator, only this little is left after death," the sweating cultivator recounted. At the scene, there were no traces of anyone else's spells. Moreover, everywhere was white flame, which couldn't be extinguished easily by water. The angry elders cursed, "Nonsense, I've never heard of any cultivator producing white flames, no trace of spells, could it be a higher-level cultivator? How could such great power come to our Qin Zhou?" Suddenly, the piece of bone floated up, causing everyone to stop arguing and watch. The bone fragment flew towards a man, and his whole body emitted a powerful aura. This matter ends here. The important matter at hand is still the plan of the old ancestors. How's the progress? Seeing his appearance, the crowd simultaneously clasped their hands and bowed their heads. "It's almost done, but Minglin town is too close to Gui Yuan's sect, so the progress is a bit slow," replied the man who made everyone bow their heads. He was the sect master of Seven Kills sect, Qi Bei Dao. He tossed aside the bone fragment and sternly instructed, "Order all disciples to proceed with caution and avoid causing trouble outside. Everyone waits for the completion of the old ancestors' plan before taking action." All the elders of Seven Kills sect responded in unison, "We obey," switching back to Qin Yun, who was lying flat on the chair. An elder entered. "Qin Master Peak, I'm here to announce the decision regarding the abolition of the peak," he said with a grim expression, looking at Qin Yun with dark eyes. He thought to himself, "It's because of your disciple that the old man lost so many spirit stones. Sooner or later, I'll reclaim this amount." With this in mind, he sighed deeply and spoke insincerely, "Sichuan is still outstanding, but Qin Yun Feng only sent him out. That's why the elder pavilion decided to abolish the peak." Hearing this, Qin Yun sat up abruptly. He shouted loudly, "What is it?" Seeing his reaction, he tightly grasped his hand, secretly thinking, "Not bad, this is the reaction." He continued, "But I can help you say a few words to get them to revoke the order. But it might cost quite a bit of money." As he spoke, he imagined Qin Yun offering all his gold and silver in tears, but contrary to his expectation, Qin Yun joyfully exclaimed, "No trouble at all, I agree to abolish the peak." The elder, still taken aback, hadn't quite understood when Qin Yun enthusiastically handed over a pile of items and said, "Here are the warehouse keys, the disciple list of Qin Yun Feng, and the master peak emblem. Elder, please help me return them. Finally, I can retire." He waved his hand hurriedly, declining, "No, no, no." The elder scratched his head awkwardly and chuckled, "Ha ha ha, I was just joking. The elder pavilion has decided not to abolish the peak anymore. So, I won't bother Master Peak with disciple education anymore." After saying this, he hastily left. Seeing him leave, Qin Yun immediately reached for his earpiece. Qin Yun sneered a bit, "Even this kind of attitude wants to argue with me." From within the earpiece came the voice of someone. "Sichuan's performance, Qin Yun Feng's disciple, is well known. Everyone has seen it, so there's no need to mention the peak's abolition anymore." Qin Yun immediately threw the pile of items in his hand, lying back on the chair, and conversed with the system. Everything settled. System, distribute the rewards. The system promptly displayed a message, main mission, train students. Objective, disciples of the sect complete the training program. Subtask, take action in anger. Objective, kill the assassins of 7 Kills sect. All tasks completed. Please select your reward. Host. Subtask reward, 3 types of weapon chest artifacts, usage limit increased by 10 times. Please choose the artifact you want to enhance, normal weapon chest, formidable weapon chest, special weapon chest. Seeing the rewards, Qin Yun couldn't help but marvel, so generous. I'll expand the normal weapon arsenal first. The system then popped up another message, Gundam Elixir Ammo Box, Autonomous Artillery, Positional Support, Teleportation Ring 10. Qin Yun continued, then the formidable. The system displayed a large prohibition sign, formidable weapon chest not included in rewards. Qin Yun scoffed sarcastically, "I shouldn't have expected anything from you." The system then came up with a new announcement, initiating main mission reward, activating university-level knowledge tower, activating all higher education science modules. Reading the new announcement, Qin Yun exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, inside the classroom, the scene outside attracted the attention of Lu Jin, and Sichuan. Outside the knowledge tower, a new floor was added. Lu exclaimed, "Hey, the knowledge tower has risen." Sichuan wondered to himself, what insight did the master gain? After a while, inside the knowledge tower, the system announced, handheld office box 1, tool function, automatic batch document production preparation. Host can carry it for convenient use in the future. Qin Yun rubbed his chin in disdain, a processing tool. I've never left the sect anyway. This is useless. The system continued, please host arrange the disciples' study plan. Immediately descend the mountain. The new main mission board appeared. Mission name, Team Development. Mission objective, recruit designated disciples according to the system. Host's disciple has continuously stepped onto the endless path of knowledge and education. They need to continue recruiting and devote all efforts to the scientific career. Time limit, 7 days. Qin Yun responded irritably, you've been talking all day. Do you want to drag me down the mountain? And this time there's more time. At this moment, Sichuan entered the room and asked with his head bowed, Master, did you find your disciple? Qin Yun sternly instructed Sichuan, from today, you won't follow the previous class schedule anymore. Once you're on this university floor, choose your own subjects. Sichuan, still bewildered, didn't understand what was happening. Qin Yun continued, patting his head, you're a mature student now, so you should know how to study independently. Shi Chuan, confused, said, but master. Qin Yun raised his index finger, admonishing, remember, think more, understand more. Though he appeared authoritative, he was thinking differently in his mind. Even at the university level, I still don't know how to teach. Shi Chuan responded eagerly, yes. Qin Yun glanced back and shouted loudly. Lu Jin, what are you two doing? Trying to sneak into the university floor, they were caught by him immediately. Startled and scared, they stepped back towards the door, standing upright. Lu exclaimed, Master, we also want to attend university. Lu Jin nodded in agreement with her. Immediately, Qin Yun tossed them out of the knowledge tower. A little elementary school kid causing trouble, what's this about? Finish your homework quickly. Lu Jin, you're already in high school, if you don't take the simulation test, why play? After dealing with his disciples, Qin Yun stretched his arms, excitedly saying, all right, everything's arranged now. I should go meet the new disciples. He opened the mission location, let's see, Minglin Town. At the same time in Minglin Town, the villagers were in a frenzy, urging each other, the immortal master is here, hurry to seize a spot. It'll be too late once all the elixirs are gone. The excited crowd rushed off, except for a girl whose actions were contrary to theirs. This girl was Xiao Yun. The girl sat there alone, holding the wooden box without any interest in the surroundings. Xiao Yun coldly scolded, a bunch of fools. Suddenly, a boy ran past and turned back to ask, Sister, aren't you going? Xiao Yun replied, for mortals like us, if we had spiritual roots, we would have been chosen long ago, the boy continued, but those immortal masters say the era has changed, and everyone can cultivate immortality now. The girl replied bluntly, you believe them too much. Xiao Yun hoisted the wooden box on her shoulder and said fiercely, if we all cultivate immortality, what benefit is there for them? She turned to look at the enthusiastic crowd behind her and said, the more enthusiastic they are, the greater the price we will have to pay. Switching scenes back to Gue Yuan sect, Qin Yun angrily pointed at the barrier and asked, why seal the mountain? The guard stuttered in response, the sect master ordered that those without tokens cannot pass. Sorry, Qin Master Peak. Qin Yun silently cursed in his heart, what's gotten into this old man? A notice board was erected below the mountain with a message, to enhance school construction, implement Plan 3. Those descending the mountain need to request a token from the sect master for access and register for related matters. A while later, Qin Yun sat despondently by the lake, and the system reminded, mission time remaining, 6 days. He threw a large rock into the water and murmured to himself, it's fortunate that I know someone with a token. But this time if I asked her for help, I'd probably get her skin peeled off again. Looming in the bushes nearby was a shadow of a person stalking Qin Yun. The person who came was none other than Bai Xia Zhenren. She hugged him with a cheerful expression, hey, little Yun hasn't seen for a day but I already misses you, Qin Yun responded with a bored expression. Senior sister, before saying those words, take out my wallet first. He raised his hand to grab his money bag that was almost stolen. Also, you're pressing this kid, Bai Xia Zhenren puffed her cheeks angrily, tasteless, little Yun doesn't understand anything, so he won't play anymore. Suddenly Qin Yun raised his hand in front of her face, making her bewildered before she could understand anything. Qin Yun happily said, let me borrow the token to go down the mountain, I want to go down the mountain, I know my sister has it. Seeing that, Bai Xia Zhenren proudly replied, maybe, but I won't lend it for free. After a while of negotiation Bai Xia Zhenren also agreed to give him the token. Qin Yun said, no wonder just now touched my wallet again, it turned out the sect master had cut off my sister's money. Bai Xia Zhenren replied despondently, if not, you could still wait for me on the mountain. Let me tell you, I haven't gone down the mountain in a few years, what are you doing all of a sudden going down the mountain this time? She curiously pointed at his hand to get some information. Qin Yun shook her head and replied. Just a little private matter, seeing that, Bai Xia Zhenren turned her head to look the other way. Not paying attention to Qin Yun who was shooting a locator bracelet in one direction, Bai Xia Zhenren didn't know anything and still waved her hand and monologued to herself, pissed, if you don't say anything, I'd rather go snooping. Before you go give me the money, so I can go find the girls to have fun, and when he finished speaking, he turned around and saw no trace of Qin Yun. Bai Xia Zhenren shouted angrily, Qin Yun, did you take my token without paying money? Her scream shook the whole green forest, birds flew everywhere. Qin Yun stood in the distance and heard her anger before realizing, haha, I forgot to give you the money. If I go back now, talking about this, Qin Yun imagined the scene of Bai Xia Zhenren clinging and not letting go, you run fast, little brother. You must be up to no good, but I'm coming with you, thinking about so Qin Yun turned around and left, I'm sorry senior sister, I'll definitely make it up to you next time. Back in Minglin town, a barrier had appeared covering the entire area at some point. Qin Yun stepped inside, somewhat surprised by the scene before him. A golden wheat field lay empty, without a single person in sight. Farming tools still littered the ground. He wondered, perhaps it's harvest season, but why is nobody here? Suddenly, a beam of light flashed overhead, catching Qin Yun's attention. He frowned when he recognized it. Is that a cultivating immortal's aura? At the same time, the townsfolk gathered densely at the temple of Minglin town. A young man stepped forward and whispered to the elder, village leader, everyone is here. The elder nodded and said loudly, yes. This old man was the village leader of Minglin town. He raised his hands and spoke loudly, fellow villagers, thanks to your tireless efforts in spreading the teachings, today the last immortal has finally visited this place. They have agreed to help us escape the hardships of mortal life and embark on the path of immortal cultivation, the people below rejoiced, and one elder was so excited that he dropped his dentures. Daidu continued, now, everyone, shout with all your might to show our enthusiasm for cultivating immortals, so that the immortal can hear our enthusiasm for cultivating immortals. It starts with you, he pointed to one of the people below, who was delighted to be called upon. The rabbit-toothed boy clenched his hands tightly, his face turned red and he screamed, "Eh!" The youths behind the village leader became furious, what's with the Speak up. If you can't make it clear, do you still want to cultivate immortals? Can't hear. We can't hear anything either. The immortal definitely can't hear. Do it again. The boy strained to shout, as loudly as he could. Rendering everyone deaf, the surrounding crowd, along with the wall in front, cracked under their screams. At this moment, a young man leaned close to the elder's ear and whispered, village leader, I remember now. This guy is inside our village, but he can't articulate. Both of them felt a bit puzzled by the situation. Seeing this, the elder turned to the next person. Okay, very spirited, next person. I am the cripple at the end of the village. Meanwhile, Qin Yun stood in a corner observing the entire village of Minglin town, concealing himself with a cloaking function projector. Observing the fervent crowd before him, Qin Yun frowned in annoyance. Approaching harvest season. And they're not farming. Instead, they're all gathered here demanding to cultivate immortals. Truly should be awakened. Suddenly, they shouted aloud, catching his attention. Immortal, the immortal has appeared. Our sound has touched the immortal. A handsome young man with outstretched arms addressed them, I've heard your sincerity, but cultivation requires determination. In the future, you don't need to do things like this anymore. The entire village bowed in gratitude, thank you for your guidance, immortal. We won't do it again. He pointed to a disciple dressed like a young child holding a tray of pills nearby, saying, all right, let's start distributing elixirs now. Please come forward. Qin Yun observed everything, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. Cultivators, elixirs, and the villagers in chaos. As soon as I saw it, it's clear this is a plot. Ignoring it could lead to disaster. The excited villagers lined up eagerly to receive pills from the disciple. Qin Yun scanned the villagers present here using a scanning device but didn't find the person he was looking for. He sighed with relief, planning to leave. My disciple isn't here. It's none of my concern. Suddenly, he stopped, noticing someone passing by him. The system confirmed, mission target located. Qin Yun exclaimed with joy, found you. At this moment, Qin Yun was silently observing Xiao Yun's actions. Someone in the crowd called out loudly, Xiao Yun, come here. It's almost your turn. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yun rushed over. Qin Yun thought to himself, is that little girl also here to receive elixirs? But to his surprise, Xiao Yun ran past the other person, giving them a hostile look before swiftly running away. The bewildered person exclaimed, what's wrong with that kid? Someone nearby advised, forget it, let it go. Qin Yun watched everything from afar, pondering, oh, interesting. In another scene, on an old building, Xiao Yun held a sophisticated tool while below, people rushed to receive elixirs. Xiao Yun aimed and fired, there is no doubt about what Immortal said, thinking that Immortal will only bring luck. At this moment, the spy camera focused on a character. Xiao Yun believed the person truly had poor memory. Suddenly, Qin Yun appeared beside her and said, this won't harm those cultivating immortals, little girl. Xiao Yun jerked, surprised to find someone next to her whom she didn't notice before. Her scream echoed to the stands. Yao Elder heard the sound and quickly turned, asking loudly, who's there? Qin Yun swiftly hid Xiao Yun and said, if you don't want to be discovered, follow me. Xiao Yun still showed her rebelliousness, but she quickly left. At the same time, Yao Elder's subordinate also chased after the source of the scream. He looked around and suddenly noticed the appearance of a mysterious creature, which turned out to be an incredibly cute cat. Who would have thought that such a dry person like him was a cat addict? After a while, Yao Elder's subordinate returned and reported, Yao Elder, nothing unusual was found. Noticing the scratches on his subordinate's face, it was evident that he and the cat had a playful time. Village leader approached smilingly, hee, Dao Immortal has distributed all your elixirs, but one person didn't come to collect. But this person won't have any impact. Hearing about the missing person, Yao Elder burst into a friendly smile with squinted eyes and said to the village leader. I told you the matter concerning the immortal is extremely important. All the people of Minglin town must participate. Is this the attitude of your village towards the immortal? The village leader, terrified, kept bowing repeatedly, Immortal, please calm down. I'll handle it immediately. Yao Elder tossed his robe and turned away. Minglin town, you missed this time. Don't expect any favors in the future. The village leader spoke confidently, Immortal, rest assured, I guarantee that next time, no one will be missing. After Yao Elder left, the village leader revealed an angry expression, thinking to himself, Xiao Yun, your little girl is really stubborn. Switching to Qin Yun's location. He had quickly gone to a desolate place without anyone to avoid Yao Elder's entourage. He said to Xiao Yun, it seems we didn't attract much attention from the temple's people. Lucky for this girl. Just as he turned back, he saw Xiao Yun standing ready to shoot him. She questioned, who are you? What do you want? Why did you help me? Qin Yun obediently replied one by one, calm down. I'm not, I'm a righteous immortal. I simply wanted to recruit you as my disciple, so I helped you. Hearing this, Xiao Yun smirked, the immortal wants to recruit disciples, yet fears being discovered. Who knows if you want to recruit disciples or steal something? Qin Yun thought to himself, that's a valid point. He then approached Xiao Yun again and tried to persuade her, let's talk elsewhere. Leave this village with me first, and then I'll explain everything. The other party ordered loudly, don't come over here, At that moment, Xiao Yun accidentally bumped into the control lever, causing the crossbow to accidentally fire. Qin Yun swiftly created a shield with one hand and grabbed Xiao Yun's hand with the other, saying, "I told you, this won't harm those cultivating immortals." Xiao Yun remained stubborn, "Let me go, or else." Qin Yun held on to Xiao Yun's hand firmly, preventing her from moving recklessly. He furrowed his brows, saying, "Stop causing trouble. Your crossbow can't be strung anymore, and don't try to threaten me with suicide." At the same time, he thought, too wary. Shouldn't mortals rejoice when they encounter good fortune? Xiao Yun bit her lip. Then she turned and ran. Now, Qin Yun was left holding only a fake arm, leaving him utterly bewildered. Xiao Yun ran off swiftly, and Qin Yun held the fake arm in his hand, pondering, but she's right. Looking at her confront those cultivating immortals, one can tell. This little girl isn't afraid of those cultivating immortals, her fierce temperament just now is a double-edged sword. If there's any hidden motive, I'll have to diagnose the right remedy. At that moment, Xiao Yun hurried home. Once there, she quickly entered her room and shut the door behind her. Now she could breathe a sigh of relief. Talisman, not following. Suddenly, the voice of the village leader came from outside. "Xiao Yun, the immortal distributed elixirs today. Why didn't you come?" Hearing the call, Xiao Yun turned pale and replied tremulously, "Village leader, I feel it's a trap. In the past 10 years, there hasn't been a single immortal in the village. Suddenly, everyone in the village can cultivate immortals. It's too strange. At least I want to investigate thoroughly." At the same time, the girl thought to herself, plotting against an immortal, I can't tell the village leader about it. The village leader, wide-eyed, said to Xiao Yun, "So, you're still thinking about this matter, and even want to investigate the immortal. Truly the descendant of a rebellious criminal. Words should not be arrogant, actions should not be harmful, life should not be taken lightly, and heaven should not be defied. Immortal is our heaven." The village leader lectured loudly. Xiao Yun wanted to retort, but, "Village leader, what if the immortal is?" Before she could finish her sentence, the leader erupted, commanding, "Shut up, even if there is a problem, opposing immortal will forever lose immortal. Without immortal protection, you know what will happen to this village." He then took out a large sword and pointed it at Xiao Yun's neck, threatening, "I'll give you two choices. 1. Accompany me to the temple tomorrow to receive elixirs for cultivating immortals, or 2. Die here. Without you, the entire village will have nothing unusual." Xiao Yun looked frightened, stammering, "Village leader, behind you." The leader angrily asked, "What trick are you trying to pull now?" Suddenly, Qin Yun appeared beside the leader, glaring and smiling mockingly, "Hi." Before the leader could react, he was hit with a pressure point and fainted. Xiao Yun asked in astonishment, "What did you do to the village leader?" Qin Yun calmly replied, "Don't worry, he's fine. Just put him to sleep." "Alright, now it's our time," he continued, taking out a syringe. Xiao Yun felt a chill run down her spine, imagining herself as a lamb and Qin Yun as a wolf, trying to capture the innocent lamb. "Now there are only 2 of us left. Let's have some fun." Hearing this, Xiao Yun was so terrified that she broke out in a cold sweat, huddling and covering her body. "Why are you following me like this? What's your purpose? Are you here to harm or kill?" Qin Yun calmly replied, "Don't be so vigilant. I've saved you twice already. And let me make it clear, I'm not interested in a brick wall." After hearing this, Xiao Yun blushed, unable to retort. The truth always brings pain. Qin Yun walked around the house, and Xiao Yun still didn't understand his true intentions. As she approached the crossbow, she said, "So, the benefactor wants to use kindness to force me to repay. Who knows if you have some ulterior motive?" At this moment, Xiao Yun raised the crossbow, but suddenly, Qin Yun threw the fake arm at her. He then praised, "This fake arm is quite sophisticated. The craftsmanship is quite good. It's a pity to discard it." Xiao Yun was surprised, Thank you. But then she regained her composure. Wait, why am I thanking him? She then put the fake arm back on and said, ah, can this mortal's craftsmanship also catch the eye of those cultivating immortals? Qin Yun replied, you're mistaken. From another perspective, mechanical techniques are even stronger than celestial methods. Xiao Yun was extremely surprised. Qin Yun picked up an item and analyzed, if improved, even mass-produced, mechanical techniques can benefit millions of mortals, whereas spells, powerful as they may be, are just the authority of one person. Qin Yun spoke with a mocking expression, and seeing this, Xiao Yun gritted her teeth and thought, is this guy really cultivating immortals? This is too unusual. Now she remembered her father's words, those cultivating immortals, because of their spiritual weapons, are called immortals. They are power-hungry and monopolize resources, not allowing mortals to interact with them. If we seek benefits from immortals, we will surely become enemies. Only by changing their mindset can we resolve conflicts. But the cultivating immortal in front of Xiao Yun now was completely different from what her father had said. Qin Yun emitted a radiant glow and said, back to the point, wise birds choose branches to perch. Minglin Town is no longer a place for you to stay. Why not, before he could finish the invitation, Xiao Yun interrupted, I agree. Qin Yun tilted his head in surprise, huh? You're so eager. Xiao Yun said sternly, but with a condition. You must help me investigate the true intentions of the immortals in the village. Upon hearing this, Qin Yun smirked, gesturing towards the village leader, and said, ultimately, you still want to help them. Did you forget that the old man earlier wanted to kill you? Xiao Yun was furious but couldn't put it into words. At this moment, she remembered a scene from her childhood when her father had said, the vast majority of mortals beg for compassion from immortals, desiring longevity. But they don't understand that destiny can only be grasped by oneself. What we need to do is to exert all our efforts to make them see the truth. Thanks to this, Xiao Yun became even more determined in her goal. She said seriously, I have my reasons. Besides, Minglin Town has been kind to me. I can't just leave without knowing if those immortals have issues. Upon hearing this, Qin Yun fell silent for a moment, then shrugged and said, if you don't do it, people don't like to force others. Xiao Yun was surprised by his response. You, Qin Yun added, taking in disciples as if redeeming a debt to your father. I'm not forcing you, it's just too embarrassing. Xiao Yun, furious, stepped forward, then I'll go on my own, stay out of my way. Inside, she was annoyed, he's despicable. I even thought he wasn't that bad earlier. Qin Yun patted her shoulder and said. All right, after all, you're still my chosen disciple. Seeing you risk your life so foolishly, I couldn't bear it. Also, in the future, when conducting transactions, don't easily reveal your values and thoughts like that. This is the first lesson I teach you. Xiao Yun looked surprised and asked, earlier, were you just messing with me? Qin Yun laughed and replied, not entirely stupid. That evening, in a certain room, Yao Elder was talking with Shui Elder. I didn't expect you to personally deliver the elixir. Shui Elder responded with a smile, it's a matter of great importance, just a task assigned by the sect. Here is tomorrow's elixir, I will come to deliver it tomorrow. Then Shui Elder turned to the subordinates and asked. How was the elixir distribution today? One person stepped forward to answer, report, Elder, out of the 300 villagers today, one person didn't come to receive the elixir, so they asked a friend to collect it on their behalf, Yao Elder then spoke up, the village leader has also gone to talk, rest assured, no one is missing. Shui Elder, with a worried expression, said, let's not stir up trouble. At this moment, his two subordinates were whispering to each other. The one with brown hair said, after all, there used to be traces of the evil Tao here, so we can't let our guard down. The person next to him expressed surprise, really? What are those guys doing in these rundown villages? The other person recounted, the evil Tao defies fate, so of course they have to find a place to hide. if it weren't for their disciples killing our immortal beasts that year, I'm afraid they wouldn't have been exposed in their lifetime. The listener felt amazed, that took guts. Beside them, a highly suspicious fly appeared, buzzing closer. Outside, Qin Yun was standing on the roof, looking at a machine and smiling sinisterly. Found it. Back in the room. Yao Elder reminded his subordinates, what's all this commotion? Follow me to see off Shui Elder. The two of them startled and responded in unison, yes, then all three of them left, closing the door behind them. The fly then took action, buzzing towards the container on Qin Yun's machine. A bolt of electricity cracked it open, and Qin Yun watched intently through his device, chuckling gleefully. Gently, gently, the fly was slowly unfolding a pill from it when suddenly the trio of Yao Elder returned, scolding their subordinates, who told you to leave? What if someone comes in now? The one with brown hair confidently said, you're too cautious. With you here, who can sneak in? The one next to him echoed, exactly. As they finished speaking, their eyes met the fly in front of them. The 8 eyes locked on each other. Yao Elder angrily shouted, who dares to play tricks here? The fly quickly darted away. Yao Elder immediately leaped into the air, and the shockwave made the surrounding villagers wake up. They asked in confusion, what's going on, immortal? What's happening? Yao Elder, irritated, replied, it's none of your business. Go back to sleep. Then he turned to his subordinates and ordered, activate the barrier formation around Minglin town, not even a fly should be allowed out. They immediately obeyed. Yao Elder then said sternly, also, inform the sect that the remnants of the evil Tao have appeared in Minglin town. The scene shifts to the house where Xiao Yun and Qin Yun reside. Qin Yun is practicing with a handheld working machine. Seeing Qin Yun's peculiar actions, Xiao Yun appears suspicious. Hey, Qin Yun, I suspect you're messing with me. Can you really investigate their intentions like this? Qin Yun flicks her forehead and admonishes, if you're ignorant, you should read more books instead of just thinking about conspiracies all day. Worriedly, Xiao Yun says, just now, you caused such a commotion. Conspiracy has turned into positive conspiracy. Confidently, Qin Yun responds, rest assured, everything is within my control. Just as he finishes his sentence, a knock on the door interrupts them. Xiao Yun repeats Qin Yun's words with a dark expression, is this also within your control? At this moment, Xiao Yun interjects, who? Who is that? I'm feeling sleepy. A voice from outside says, little Yun, open the door. It's Shui. Shui aunt. Qin Yun quickly finds a corner to hide, and Xiao Yun scolds him, where are you hiding? After everything is settled, Xiao Yun finally opens the door and asks. What's the matter, Shui aunt? It's late, Shui aunt replies with a smile, little Yun, I'm delivering the elixir you haven't received yet. She holds a glowing packet of elixir in her hand. Seeing it, Xiao Yun is extremely surprised, such rare elixir. I thought someone else had taken it all, Shui aunt furrows her brows and responds, if you don't understand, it's okay, but how could the people in the village forget about you? Remember the disaster year, the whole village contributed to make a big pot of food, but they didn't forget about you. Xiao Yun nods, yeah, I remember. Hearing this, Shui aunt gently strokes Xiao Yun's head and praises her, little Yun, we're smart and capable. We understand things. Xiao Yun hesitates, Shui aunt, at this point, Shui aunt looks sad and advises her, but don't be like me back then, thinking you're clear-headed but causing trouble yourself. She recounts, at that time, strange monster incidents occurred in the village, mostly affecting people with bad reputations. So, this monster was considered an immortal beast to be eliminated. But I and another person don't think so. That person is your father. Later, I figured out a way to lead everyone away, while your father seized the opportunity to kill the monster, and finally, an immortal descended to avert the disaster. Since then, Minglin town hasn't enjoyed immortality anymore. Xue Ant then advises Xiao Yun that sometimes being too confident isn't good. Wait until you grow up to understand. Be obedient, take the elixir and admit your mistake. Everyone sees you as their own child, there's no need to calculate. By that time, the whole village will become immortal, with that, she hands the elixir packet to the lit girl. Xiao Yun used her eyes to firmly refuse, "Aunt Xue, I can't take this elixir." Then she decisively turned around and left, letting Aunt Xue call out in confusion, little Yun, I'll wait for you." Xiao Yun turns back and asks her, does Xue Ant really believe that the monster back then was an immortal beast? Upon hearing this, Xue Ant's face pales, and she asks, if not, then what? It's impossible for both the immortal and everyone to be wrong. Xiao Yun decisively closes the door and advises her, "Xue Ant, go home early. Be careful on the way." The other party still doesn't understand Xiao Yun's demeanor from earlier and calls out loudly, little Yun, little Yun." On this side, Xiao Yun remains firm in her thoughts, father must be right. One day, mortals who don't understand the truth will still be controlled by immortals. Suddenly, a voice rings in her mind, I will definitely save you all. As soon as Xiao Yun steps in, Qin Yun greets, hey, back already? Xiao Yun responds, yeah. Right at this moment, Qin Yun turns back and announces, we just got the results. The system board displays the message, 7 kill elixir, ingredient analysis. Xiao Yun asks in amazement, what is this? Qin Yun explains, this is the analysis result. This machine can analyze the reverse time method and production process. The secrets of cultivating immortal beings basically don't exist in front of it. Of course, the premise is to store relevant documents. Xiao Yun expresses admiration, impressive. Then she asks, so, what are the results? Qin Yun replied, what is the result? As you guessed. The system board displays the message, the elixir name is not stored in the data warehouse yet. Ingredient, 80% true pill, effects, strengthen body, increase cultivation. The remaining 20% is unclear. The scene shifts to Xue Ant's room, where she sees a pill carelessly placed on the floor and sighs, did this elixir go bad like this? Then she remembers earlier and says with a sad expression, little Yun, this child is too strong-willed, leave it. Meanwhile, the system board is analyzing the pill, deep analysis result, the component's unknown effect on genes will mutate the human body's components. Overdosing will cause the human body to continuously grow, reading this. Xiao Yun is extremely shocked and asks, why would immortals give us this elixir? Qin Yun calmly responds, for experimentation, to them, mortals and white mice are no different. Returning to Aunt Xue, she was holding the pill up and about to put it in her mouth, muttering under her breath, little Yun, it's not that Xue Ant is greedy. I'll use my pill to repay you in the future. Just as she swallowed the pill, a terrifying explosion rocked the area around Xue Ant's room. Startled, the villagers opened their doors to investigate, what's happening? In the faint smoke, a pair of blood-red eyes glimmered ominously. Xiao Yun's place was also affected by the shockwave. She trembled violently where she stood, with broken items scattered everywhere. Realizing the situation, Xiao Yun suddenly exclaimed, trouble, and swiftly ran out the door. Qin Yun, not understanding what was happening, called out, hey, what a nuisance. He planned to chase after Xiao Yun, but suddenly, the system board emitted a beeping sound, catching Qin Yun's attention. It announced, unknown technical object detected. Would you like to proceed with analysis? Outside, the villagers ran around in panic, shouting, there's a monster. Quick, get the village leader. Xiao Yun had also arrived, staring blankly as people ran past, warning her, run quickly, are you looking for death? Now remembering Qin Yun's words, the elixir is toxic. Overdosing leads to an uncontrollable surge of energy in the body, irreversible. In front of her stood a creature with purplish skin, eyes bulging red as if they were about to pop out, a monstrous figure with a grotesque appearance, roaring fiercely. Xiao Yun recognized it at a glance. Trembling, she said, "Shua ant." At that moment, Xiao Yun and the monster locked eyes. It crazily lunged forward as if to swallow her whole. Suddenly, in Xiao Yun's subconscious, a voice said, "Run, don't eat." Just then, a sword struck the creature's body, and Yao Elder arrived in time to save her. The villagers cheered, "An immortal is here, that's great. The immortal has exterminated the monster." Xiao Yun explained, "That's not a monster, that's Shua ant." Others reminded her. "What mischief are you up to, Xiao Yun?" Xiao Yun held back tears, trying to explain to everyone, "Shua ant took the elixir meant for me today, but since I didn't take it, she took it herself, and the result turned out like this. If you don't believe me, look at her, Shua ant's clothes from today are still on her." Hearing this, some brave individuals approached the creature's body to check. One person held up a piece of fabric, saying, "Wait a minute, this seems to be Shua ant's clothes from today." The old man next to him also remembered Shua ant's outfit from earlier and couldn't believe his eyes. Could it be? How could Shua ant turn into a monster? Xiao Yun spoke loudly in front of everyone, "The so-called elixir is a scam. The immortals are just using us as experiments." Now, Qin Yun, observing from the rooftop, sighed, "Oh dear. My disciple, truly a typical reckless child, succeeding or failing at the mercy of fate." A man holding a piece of fabric approached Yao Elder and asked, "What is this about?" "Immortal, Yao Elder quickly diverted the topic, fabricating. Xiao Yun attempted to steal the elixir but failed, so she used this method to sabotage our immortal sex gift to Minglin Town. Your family's evil Tao is truly. Xiao Yun froze. I never expected someone with such a malicious heart in this world. Yao Elder elaborated, steering the villagers' thoughts, honorable ancestors, this is a plot concocted by the evil Tao to prevent your immortality. I'm afraid even this poor girl has been harmed by her, Xiao Yun retorted angrily, you're lying. A villager reminded her sternly, Xiao Yun, watch your tone. Qin Yun, witnessing everything, he smirked disdainfully, indeed, this old trick of blackening others' names is nothing new, but always the most effective against the brainless. Indeed, the villagers seemed to be enthralled by Yao Elder's manipulative words, all turning their backs on Xiao Yun, saying, I remember now, Xiao Yun's father back then wasn't he evil Dao? Xiao Yun. Shua ant treated you like family, and you treat her like this, truly cruel. Have we mistreated you? Why would you sabotage our immortal gift? Luckily, the immortals are forgiving. Alone, Xiao Yun had to contend with the majority of the villagers, using all her strength to explain, everyone, listen to me. Sensing the situation was dire, Qin Yun flicked his hand open to reveal a box full of guns. Golden Pill Aftermath. Let's resolve this quickly. In his mind, he still had some doubts, but what is this evil Dao? Could it really be true? At that moment, Yao Elder decisively aimed his attack at Xiao Yun, enough, evil Dao scum, there's no place for you to speak in this world, die. The crowd of villagers cheered him on, the immortal is acting. Those who had once stood shoulder to shoulder with Xiao Yun, like family, now, because of an outsider's words, turned their backs on her, supporting him in killing Xiao Yun. Even Qin Yun hadn't foreseen this, he could only stand there, eyes blank, but suddenly, Yao Elder was thrown backward, and the bewildered crowd cheered. Well done. But now, upon closer inspection, everyone's faces turned pale, speechless and stunned. A concerned person walked up and asked, Immortal, are you okay? Yao Elder, both hurt and embarrassed, turned back to rebuke him, be quiet. In Yao Elder's heart, he felt something strange, I can't sense any spiritual movement. Why suddenly attacked? If it weren't for the protective talisman given by the sect master, could there be another evil Dao besides Xiao Yun? He speculated. It turned out Qin Yun had stepped forward to defend Xiao Yun. He arrogantly questioned the other party, do you have the right to speak? Isn't it whoever has the power that gets to speak? Borrowing the name of heaven and earth is truly ridiculous. Xiao Yun also couldn't believe she was saved. She thought she had just narrowly escaped death. Just as Qin Yun finished speaking, he glanced at Yao Elder's information board, thinking to himself, strange, armor-piercing bullets, yet not a single shot killed him. It seems that in the future, when fighting stealthily, it's better to use powerful weapons directly. Then Qin Yun turned back to Xiao Yun and said, "This is my second lesson for you. If your momentum is not strong, don't act recklessly. Remember that. Also, you should address me as master." Annoyed, she replied, "Is this the time to teach me a lesson?" On Yao Elder's side, he spoke to Qin Yun, "I see that you're also cultivating immortality. Why would you help the enemies of cultivating immortals, the evil Tao?" Yao Elder decisively interrogated, "Who are you? Dare to give your name?" Qin Yun smirked cunningly and replied, "Ah. I am a cultivator of the Seven Kills sect." Upon hearing this name, Yao Elder immediately exclaimed, "We are the Seven Kills sect." Only then did Qin Yun realize he had been tricked and hesitantly responded, "Oh. What a coincidence." Yao Elder drew his sword while saying, "It seems you have no intention of cooperating. Very well, let's use our strength to talk then." On this side, the ignorant villagers were urging each other to leave, "Let's go quickly, the immortals are fighting." Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out, "Found you." Before Qin Yun could react, a surge of power rushed towards him, leaving the surrounding people bewildered and confused. What's happening? In the misty haze, a figure surrounded by electricity appeared. It was none other than Bai Xia Zhenren. She had chased here and upon meeting them, immediately scolded, "Little Yun, running away from debts isn't a good habit." Only then did Qin Yun say to her, "I told you, do you need to look around first?" Hearing this, the other party looked around. Now realizing, so many people. Bai Xia Zhenren then silently pondered, "That's not right, this Jinner brother of mine, after the incident 3 years ago, hid in the sect and never left the master's door. It's not easy to go down the mountain once, and there are so many people who cause disadvantages for it. As for the kid who appeared next to me, could it be?" Bai Xia Zhenren speculated, "Did you run out to kidnap children and get caught again?" She chuckled, losing the saintly and gentle demeanor of a fairy. Qin Yun then retorted, "Your words really can't say anything nice." On this side, a subordinate whispered to Yao Elder, "Should we intervene?" He calmly replied, "Hold on." In Yao Elder's heart, he observed Bai Xia Zhenren's background, "That girl's speed is extremely fast and I couldn't react in time. Moreover, when she used physical force to fall to the ground, she didn't suffer any harm. If it's not specialized physical training, then it's strong power. I can't confront her." Suddenly, Shui Elder appeared. He asked eagerly, "Yao Elder, how's the situation?" Seeing Shui Elder, Yao Elder was overjoyed, "You've arrived." Then he whispered to the other party, summarizing, "Someone has come to cause trouble, it seems they're here to find enemies." Upon hearing this, Shui Elder also turned to observe, seeing Bai Xia Zhenren's abundant strength, he said, "This girl is also at the Yuaning stage with me. I've never heard of a Yuaning stage cultivator in the Qingzhou realm, but this person's appearance is very similar to Bai Xia, the fairy of the Gue Yuan sect." Upon hearing this name, Yao Elder became frantic, "Bai Xia fairy, her appearance is ethereal like the fairy, apart from being both female, there's nothing alike." It turned out Yao Elder was a member of the fan club for Bai Xia Zhenren. Even fairies could have idols. Hearing this, Shui Elder also agreed, right, moreover, the Gue Yuan sect doesn't specialize in body training." On this side, Bai Xia Zhenren and Qin Yun were communicating with each other through their eyes, "Little Yun, with so many people surrounding you like this, it will be difficult to escape," she glared. Qin Yun responded, "Senior sister, if you've come, then fulfill your duty and then leave." Then he looked at Xiao Yun and whispered to Bai Xia Zhenren, to make my disciple admire and respect his master, only one strong dose of medicine is missing. The plan has been laid out, now it's just a matter of performing convincingly. Qin Yun opened the scene with a plea to Bai Xia Zhenren, senior sister, there's no time to explain, help my disciple block the firepower first, but she coldly refused, don't hope for it, the one who is happy is you, and the one who suffers is me. Qin Yun tried to persuade her, just attack first, and I'll make it up to you later. Later, I'll show you something very beautiful. Hearing this topic, Bai Xia Zhenren seemed interested. Oh. What's so beautiful? She asked. Qin Yun smirked and replied, enough for you to broaden your horizons. On this side, Yao Elder stepped forward to talk to Bai Xia Zhenren, fairy. We don't want to harm innocent people, we hope you can leave quickly. Before he finished his sentence, Bai Xia Zhenren rushed forward. Swiftly launched the umbrella towards the two of them. Shui Elder quickly intercepted it, while Yao Elder startled and cursed, damn. Observing Bai Xia Zhenren's action, Shui Elder gradually understood her intentions and asked, do you want to protect them? The other party smirked, you talk a lot, old man. If you don't agree, just come to the 7 Kills sect to find me. Once again, Yao Elder angrily emphasized, we are the 7 Kills sect. Bai Xia Zhenren replied exactly as Qin Yun did earlier, oh. What a coincidence. Yao Elder immediately issued orders to his subordinates, attack, don't leave anyone alive, they are a group. He was extremely irritated, disgusting, why are you so used to gossiping? Thus. Bai Xia Zhenren faced the group alone while Qin Yun protected Xiao Yun. At this moment, the girl wanted to apologize, but Qin Yun immediately said, apologies won't work, if they did, the protagonist wouldn't need to intervene. We have more important matters to attend to urgently. With that, he took out a bow. When Xiao Yun saw it, she was extremely surprised. This is the bow my father left behind. Aren't you planning to use it to turn the tables? This is using eggs to fight rocks, Qin Yun confidently replied, what if it's not an ordinary bow? Compared to preaching, experiencing it yourself would be better. With that said, he handed the bow to Xiao Yun. Back in the battle, an arrow was flying straight towards Bai Xia Zhenren, but she didn't dodge, instead, she used 2 pomelos to catch it, and the arrow broke upon contact. The enemy was astonished and exclaimed, ah! My magic weapon! Bai Xia Zhenren chuckled mischievously, hee hee, your treasure's hardness is quite lacking, just as she finished speaking, she sensed a surge of hostility behind her. Shui Elder took the opportunity to sneak attack, don't think you can act recklessly. At this moment, Yao Elder's subordinate was extremely confused, thinking to himself, she used her physical body to block Elder's divine weapon, her combat ability is too abnormal. Despicable, starting with the weakest one first. Thinking so, he changed targets to Qin Yun and Xiao Yun. He quickly rushed towards them, sneering, wait till I capture them as hostages, then the situation can be turned around. Suddenly, Yao Elder shouted, fool, that little brat has an issue, but it was too late, the subordinate had reached them. As he turned back to look, a beam of light shone on his face, and a surge of power struck his body. Everyone stood dumbfounded, not understanding what was happening. Amidst the swirling dust, Xiao Yun appeared stunned and asked, what did you do with my bow? It turned out the surge of power earlier originated from Xiao Yun's father's bow. Qin Yun explained, this? I found something quite interesting in your house. Xiao Yun then said, this is my father's artifact. At that moment, the system sent a notification to Qin Yun, detected another unknown piece of technology in this room, please confirm, host. Although it was already broken, Qin Yun used some tricks to fix it and then placed it in the device. The system immediately notified, restored 100%, currently analyzing, remaining 10%. Hearing this, Xiao Yun exclaimed unexpectedly, I always thought it was just an ordinary piece of wood. After the system finished analyzing, Qin Yun felt, this thing is truly terrifying. Qin Yun continued, it stores spiritual power inside, and after being activated by the formation, it can enable mortals to use power as beautiful as cultivating immortals. I'm afraid this is the true essence of mechanical techniques. It's just a pity that it couldn't be fully passed down to you. Now, Qin Yun felt extremely proud of himself and said, now that we have a model, clarifying the principles of crafting is just a matter of time. After speaking, Qin Yun smiled happily, I'm clearly indulging myself here. Hearing this, Xiao Yun expressed immense admiration and asked, so, can you also control mechanical techniques like my father? I want to learn too. Qin Yun immediately raised the bow and said, you can learn, but after this class is over. The focus, look over there. Meanwhile, on Yao Elder's side, his subordinates appeared extremely panicked, discussing anxiously, what's going on? The disciple disappeared. He also turned pale, unable to believe his eyes. Seeing this, Xiao Yun suddenly thought, the immortal is afraid. Compared to being exposed by me, he's actually more afraid of power. Thinking of this, she smirked, disdainfully saying, immortals are just like that. At this moment, Qin Yun handed the bow to Xiao Yun and asked, since the heirloom has returned, what should I do next? Do I still need to teach you? The other party showed an extremely determined look, resolutely stating, strength decides everything. Then she looked at Qin Yun and said, I have learned, master. Hearing this, Qin Yun raised his thumb, class dismissed. At this point, the system notified him, congratulations, host, for successfully accepting the disciple. Next is the post-class activity time. Finishing his words, Qin Yun activated the weapon box and selected weapons from level 3.